They used to call him the Reaper. Now, Patrick Mahomes is Mr. Freeze because nothing bothers him. The cold, the opponent, it doesn't matter. He's ice cold, and he gets the job done. Welcome back. This is RGR Football. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue, and thank you guys for bearing with us. Dan held it down last night for me. I've been running around this weekend, giant volleyball tournament for me and my family. Shout out to Juggernaut Volleyball. Had a great weekend, finished in a nice spot, and I'm pretty excited about the season. Appreciate you guys hanging with us. Appreciate KC Power Volleyball and PVA Volleyball, who we trained with over the Christmas break. Very much appreciative of that. It's kind of what our family revolves around here in the spring is the kids' sports. So thank you guys for hanging out with Dan last night. I'm going to answer your questions tonight. I've seen the whole game on replay. I was able to watch about part of it, about half of it live. So had some impressions, but it was just too late, and we were in the thick of competition ourselves. So welcome, Rogue family. Nice to see you. Appreciate you very much. Patrick, Lego, Jeremy, Gary, Terry, bunch of regulars in here. It's nice to see you. If you guys asked a question earlier, I'm going to try to get to them all. It all depends on when you got into the chat and when I got into the chat, whether I'm going to be able to see them. So if you don't mind, have a question that doesn't come up here in the next few minutes, go ahead and throw your question back in and we'll get to it. Tactics, you are the first super chat of the night that I've seen. Thank you, buddy. And hey, good point. $2. $2 opinion is worth it. Finally beat Justin Houston. I noticed it was very, very quiet from Justin Houston last night. I noticed that the local media didn't really seek him out much. From what I understand, he wasn't too willing to speak anyway. So yeah, hey, it's one of those deals. Rice, baby. I like it. Dirty. Now, don't worry, folks. If you put in a question before, I do have a bunch of them lined up, about 10 of them. So I'm going to go back here in a minute, but keep them coming, and we're going to jump right into it because the bottom line is that Patrick Mahomes can get it done. And I think, again, what you saw last night, as Dan very deftly handled last night, is that they could handle the elements. They could be the more physical team. And in that cold, Patrick was on fire. I think the biggest takeaway for me is just how concise he is and how he keeps that team on track because of who he is, especially when your helmet gets broken because it's so bitterly cold and you just roll on to the next helmet and the next helmet. And I know that they're preparing the third, et cetera, but that really stood out to me. And it looks like I'm having a little bit of internet connection problems. If I drop, I will be back. I promise you, just stick here with the live feed because I got a couple of things rolling here. It is very bitterly cold here at my altitude. We're at minus 22 right now. And it is playing a little bit of havoc with my internet signal. So right to the questions and celebrate Mr. Freeze. Brandon, thank you, buddy. Does this knee issue concern you signing him long-term? And while I would definitely be on top of it and be a little bit concerned, in the room, in the building, they are well aware and they've gone through the process. So I expect them to choose to pursue him in a re-signing. If they get it done, they're going to be comfortable enough. If we see him walk with no conversation, then maybe there's something else up there, and that's probably something that we should be concerned about. But we're going to get to that here pretty soon. So thank you, guys. I see some other questions coming back in. Very much appreciate that. I'm going to try to get to them all. We're not going to go super long tonight because I still got to unpack the truck and the whole 9 yards, but wanted to get you here so that we could get after it a little bit. And I know there's a ball game going on. I just turned it on. I haven't seen anything of this one yet. Little surprised, I have to be honest, about what the Pack was able to do. Makes you feel better about that game up in Lambeau, right? So I hope that we can take that away. And tonight, if you want to get into it, tomorrow night we're going to do our normal Q&A at 7 Central and get into it. But obviously, a ball game's been shifted to that. And so what I'm going to do tomorrow night, it won't be the whole game, I don't think, but based on what we do in the Q&A, we might slide over and do our first members-only live stream of the live reaction to that other wild card game. You got to join the memberships at the rookie level or above if you want to get into that. So go ahead and make that adjustment tonight if that's what you're looking for and you want to support the channel. Other ways to support the channel are to buy the gear. We got plenty of it, or to hit the super chat tonight. And every super chat, I promise you, will get an answer tonight, even though I'm planning on going about 30 minutes. So with that said, looks like you guys are continuing to pump them in here. I appreciate that. I'm just building the stack, and we will cut right into it, starting with the second one that I saw from Micah. After Hardman's performance on Saturday, would you like to see Tony back next week and actually getting significant snaps? Only if he's healthy for me, Micah. If he can't be absolutely 100% after holding him out all this time, I don't want to see him. Because yes, it's frustrating. And no, McColl was not all that you'd hoped. But pushing Kadarius out there when he's not healthy isn't going to give you the results you're looking for. And it's going to prolong any significant impact he can have on the offense. So if he has to wait 2 more weeks and we don't see him in the AFC Championship until the AFC Championship, I can live with that. Okay. And honestly, if he just never gets healthy, that is one of the possible outcomes. So we're just going to have to live with it. But I don't want a half-baked product on the field because I think in the end, that puts the whole team and the win and the move on to the next round at risk. And I'm not willing to do that. Mike had another one. Kelsey's playing hurt. Or is he playing hurt, or is he getting old and the ball was too hard to catch, or all the above? I think a little bit of all the above, but I think mostly he's playing hurt and it's ruining some of his concentration. Last night, I think the elements certainly helped on that first drop. I know he was credited with 3. I think there were some other circumstances there that probably led to that, but you know, there are worse things than a drop here and there. You get Hall of Fame Travis Kelce for most of the time. And that I think is going to be more significant down the line. So in the end, you got to roll with him. I don't think there's any way that you avoid it. Travis Kelce is your guy. Let's see. Quinn, unpopular opinion, but I think that they should keep throwing deep to Hardman. I know his effort was very questionable, but it feels like him and Patrick have a better connection than MVS. And to your point, the fact that Patrick's still telling him you got to run long and run through your route is just infuriating, not just to me, but certainly to Patrick. But it's the best of both scenarios. I tend to agree with you. I don't think it's warranted to just keep throwing at MVS. So I would rather McColl learn his damn lesson and finish routes and stop playing possum and just get the job done. I think he can do that for a couple of game stretch. I don't think there's any interest in bringing him back yet again because you traded for him, obviously not a large investment, but it still hasn't paid off. So if he has any hope of making an impression for someone else, he's got to do it here in the playoffs. That could go a long way for it. Tom, do you think that we can beat Buffalo on the road if we continue to settle for field goals instead of touchdowns in the red zone? I think it is possible, yes. Because there are times when Buffalo's offense gets stymied as well. And after taking away A-Chain in particular last night, A-Chain didn't do that. And I think that's more of the significance to me because I think when Buffalo is really cooking, it's when Cook is running the ball well and Josh Allen is working off of that. Obviously, they have pass catchers. The Chiefs have proven they can take pass catchers away. Nothing makes me smile more than that replay of Jerry Sneed pounding Tyreek into the ground. Now, don't get me wrong. If Tyreek demands a trade or his release tomorrow, I would sign him back tomorrow. But he's made a lot of waves since town. And I think getting a little bit of that back from a guy who was younger than him and was on top, came along after, I think that was significant to me. And I think that felt pretty good. I am not concerned about personally would rather face CJ and the Texans in Arrowhead than I would like to go to Buffalo, but I'm not scared of Buffalo. I think they've proven that they can handle that. Let's see here. Mikey. Winning is fun. You guys rock. Thanks for always holding it down through the good and the bad. Awesome content, top tier coverage from a team. Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate it. And yeah, winning is definitely fun, but honestly, it gets made more fun and more satisfying when you do go through all the lows and we talk ourselves through it so we understand what's going on. It makes these moments pay off a little bit more. And I think there's still a lot of question marks about what this road to a Super Bowl is going to look like. There's no guarantee that the Ravens win. As you've seen this weekend, crazier things have happened. So there's still a concept of there's still a path to hosting the AFC Championship and going to a Super Bowl. It is not without the realm of possibility. It can certainly still happen. Now, let me jump back for just a second, double check that I'm getting all my super chats and everything starred as it should be, because that's the way I like it. Try to make my life as simple as possible. And I will try to answer as many questions as I can tonight. All you super chatters will definitely get one, though. So I just want you to be aware. I'm scrolling back up and making sure that I'm getting everything covered. Again, I'm going to roll through them. So if you haven't had your question answered, don't worry. I'm going to get to it. Sean, I just saw your comment about Holland. Yeah, agreed. Should we move Turk to DE full-time? He looks good coming off the edge. And Steven, it's not a terrible idea. He's another one of the players that we feel can play both. Like Dana, like a Menahue, honestly, like George Karlaftis, like Malik Herring. I don't know that you have to move him full-time, but certainly I would give him more reps at end for sure. And I think that ability to just change it up constantly is the advantage that Steve Spagnuolo could take further advantage of. So I say, why not? But I don't know that you have to like change his position listing or anything like that. Let's see. Pacheco running style of running into offensive linemen and defense directly. Do you think he's going to have a shorter career? There is some of that concern. Yes. You do have to watch out for that. And that's something that Dan has always come back to about vision. And at some point, there's a line. But right now, the juice and the physicality that he brings is lifting the entire offense. So you got to let him do it. You got to let him just play his game the way it is. As he gets older, as he approaches a second contract, I think he will naturally back off of that a little bit. I don't think he's going to change his style, but I think he'll be a little bit more selective about some of the hits that he takes. And I think that will be smart, not just for him, but for the team as well. Thanks, Joe. Nikki, hope you're doing well. Where did you see it on replay? I subscribe to NFL Plus. You guys can do that too if you like. So I got to watch the condensed version. They cut it all down, cut all the crap out, and it's just the plays down to 44 minutes, I think it was. So I was able to watch it while we are on a rotation today, and my kids' volleyball team was reffing rather than playing. So I was able to squeeze that in on the old iPad and got to see that pretty up close and tight. And I do appreciate NFL Plus having it. So that's the easiest way, Nikki. Phil, if the Chiefs don't make it to the Super Bowl, do you think that this is Andy Lee's last year coaching? Not at all. I definitely do not, especially if they don't make it to a Super Bowl. I'd be more concerned about him retiring if they make it and win it again. That might do it. But no, in general, I think he's here. Until this path runs out with Patrick Mahomes, I don't think Andy Reid's going anywhere. It's too good, and it's too – I mean – I said this, I kind of hinted at this last week, and I'll try to say it in a more succinct way now. If you look at the teams the Chiefs have played in the Super Bowls, where are they now? San Francisco took a significant dip, and now they're finally coming back up. Tampa Bay is scraping the barrel to make a wild card this week with another quarterback. It's just back and forth and back and forth. And yes, the Eagles look ferocious most of that, but they don't look like it now, do they? So, like, the fact that you're able to continually to compete for AFC championships and Super Bowls year after year after year after year, I think that that's a huge plus and something that really we ought to be applauding, that it's not just like every third year you take a shot. Like, they're consistently there. And that's what a dynasty is. Pats competed for a long time before they got all of theirs. Yes, they got several in a row, but it wasn't these huge dips, and that's the same path the Chiefs are on. Terry, hope you're doing well. Another one of our members. Nice to see you, buddy. Were you shocked we did not activate Tony? I wasn't. I know he was listed as questionable. He practiced light all week. Unless he was a full go on Wednesday. And Wednesday is the only day that I really care about because you can get through Thursday and Friday. If you don't practice Wednesday, I don't think that you're ready. And I think that's kind of how Andy feels. So, no, it wasn't much of a surprise to me. How is Nadi's elbow? And what I've gleaned today is that it's not perfect. It's not season ending, but it doesn't sound like he's in a very good space. So could you see Bugs get elevated this week? I think so. Will you see Pennell? I definitely think so. And give him a week off. Derek Nadi's been an unsung hero of this team. This defense couldn't stop the run without him. It'd be a gaping hole there. The fact that they brought in Bugs is insurance for that. Now it might pay off. Pennell coming back certainly takes care of some of that. So I'm waiting to hear Wednesday Tuesday evening, maybe we might get a glimpse, but Wednesday we should know where he's at on the recovery spectrum. Jonathan, if we have to play Buffalo, do you think that the run game will be an even bigger factor for KC if the weather is potentially bad? Also, swag surfing. I like swag surfing. And I don't care that Taylor does it. That's fine. Enjoy that. For all the people that are bitching out there, a lot of them I don't think are Chiefs fans, to tell you the truth, because you know what? If she's getting into it, means there's good things going on inside the stadium, and I'm here for that. But as far as Buffalo goes, I said it on social media today, just referencing a clip. You have to run. This team is not, despite Patrick throwing, 39 passes, I think, 41 passes. This still has to be a team that runs. Giving Pacheco as much carries as they did last night was foundational. Let's be real. This team has to win with the basics in every single phase. There's no way around that. 24 carries. No, it wasn't great, but that last night illustrated exactly why it's important to do, because it wears the defense out. They had nothing for the Chiefs in the fourth quarter. Absolutely nothing. And hey, 3.7 yards a carry is a first down every 3 carries, and that's all that matters to me. Move the chains, keep doing it, take your shots when you have the opportunity. And quite frankly, I doubt that there's going to be as bad weather in the rest of the playoffs as there was for this one. There might be more snow, especially if they have to go to Buffalo. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad weather. They can play in the cold, and I think it will generally be warmer the rest of the playoffs than it was this particular week. From the nationwide forecast that I see, this Arctic blast is supposed to recede back to Canada here pretty soon. And, you know, we're going to be talking normal winter temperatures. And I think that plays into what the Chiefs want to do. Hey, Zeus, nice to see you. What do you think about Houston told Andy at the end of the game? I wish I knew. I didn't get to see it. Didn't see any lip reading or anything like that. I have no idea. I think probably a little bit of regret of letting it end so badly in Kansas City, where he just wasn't putting out. He wasn't making effort, and he had to go. He talked himself out of Kansas City, or played himself out of Kansas City. Give me the Bills in the next round, says Patrick. Hey, I'm down. I won't argue. I don't care. I'm ready for this team to take on whoever shows up. I am not concerned. This defense is for real. Maybe the best in the playoffs. Maybe. You're not wrong. You know, the Niners are still the Niners until you prove otherwise. But this is playoff football, and I think what we've seen today, this whole weekend, proves that, you know, just because you were something in the regular season doesn't mean you have to be that in the playoffs. It is truly the redefinition that we talk about quite often around here, that, you know, get to the dance and everything restarts, and that's going to help you out. And I do believe that's kind of the way that it's still going here. I'm going to do another quick search here for a few more questions, and we're going to keep plowing through them. As many as I can get to, and every super chat gets one. Oscar, nice to see you. So with Trent, Rice, and Snead being dogs, but what are your thoughts on Justin Houston talking to Big Red after the game? I mean, good for him. He should. I mean, Justin had an opportunity to be a legend here. He still should be. He still has 22 sack season under his belt on this roster. Outside of Derek Thomas, he's the best pass rusher they've seen. You can argue about Jared Allen. I would say, as a Chief, Justin Houston was better. So in my mind, second only to DT. That goes a ways. I hope that it was cordial. I would love to hear what it was, but I haven't seen anything about it yet, Oscar. What team would you rather KC plays next? I'd rather play the Texans. Yes, they're young. Yes, they've been explosive. They don't have experience, and I think Spags in particular, and Andy also, will work around them. Nothing against D'Amico Ryans. He runs a great defense. Chiefs offense can dismantle it, I am certain of. MVS caught a pass too. Yeah, he did. Just, you know, wasn't anything that moved the needle for me. I'd still take my chances with McCole. Best defense in the league. Young guys stepped up for us. For real, Devontae. And they're going to have to continue. I like a pissed off L'Jarius Sneed. Let's be real. I like that. Something to prove. Knowing that he lost out on millions of dollars per year because he didn't get a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro, which I completely did expect. And having your teammate be recognized, that's a lot. that's an axe to grind. And I hope that he will take a lower contract for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think he'll have an axe to grind and something to prove. And I'm all for that. Mickey, winning is fun. You guys rock. Oh, I think I already got this one, but thank you, buddy. I appreciate you as always. Ozzy, hope you're doing well. You see Chris Jones' tweet that he needs to start complaining like Micah so he can get some holding calls. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of that. And there are some reverse calls as well. I see a lot of people complain about things that shouldn't be called holding that the refs legitimately let go. And because especially the whole rip situation, when the player voluntarily rips under, that arm's going to go around. There's no way around it. And that's why they don't call it. And that's perfectly legit. Scott, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. How did things look in the trenches? Now, from what I saw, it was not as clean as I was like for Donovan Smith. But against those pass rushers, he did fine. The question's going to be who comes next. And if it is the Bills, I'd be a little bit more nervous about that. Just my thought. As far as the defensive line goes, I saw good play from Menahue. I thought Dana was solid, but not spectacular. I know he had been battling something a little bit as well. Impressed with George. George made a couple of plays where he was actually not pass rushing as well that I thought really stood out as he was using his wheels, turning his hips, doing better than you expect to see him in open space. So again, it's going to come down to the tackles, in my opinion. Teams are still going to try, despite the Dolphins being unsuccessful. I think they're still going to try to run on the middle of the Chiefs defense. Ashley, nice to see you. Thank you very much. Hey guys, great show. I thought Bill Belichick as GM and Mike Vrabel as head coach in LA, Connor Beebe from Kansas State as left tackle for a year or two, then left tackle. I think you mean left guard and then left tackle. Connor Beebe's not a tackle. No. I don't see that happening at all. I think he will get beat up pretty badly. I think he's going to be a guard, and I think he's going to do well. I think he can play on both sides. I do like him in the run. So I could certainly see Belichick and Vrabel working together. I don't know if Bill's going to take another job, and a lot of people feel that he is. I'm not so concerned. I'm not so certain. I think that he might choose to just ride off into the sunset. Turning around another franchise is a giant task, and having guys with you could certainly do that. I could see Bill Belichick as the head coach, Mike Vrabel as the defensive coordinator, and Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator. And now you're back to his stable of coaches that he trusts and knows. And I think that's super good for him. But I also think that he could just choose at his age to retire and go down in history, much as Saban, as the greatest coach in the history of this league. Move over Chuck Noll, move over Bill Walsh. And I think if he pushes it too far, he could risk that legacy. So I think that is something that's important to Bill Belichick. I could be wrong. I don't know the man personally, but that's what it feels like to me. John Collins, thank you very much, pal. Nice to see you. And I appreciate when you guys do this. When our current members gift memberships to other people, it always goes over huge and it grows our numbers, and we very much appreciate it. What you're going to get is a draft pick level, live stream oriented free membership because of John's generosity. Thank you, brother. What you can then do, if you want to get on the live stream tomorrow night that is rookie level and above, you can just upgrade real quick. Not a big deal. You can do it 1 month at a time. If you don't like it, don't keep doing it. No big deal. But John's going to help you get exposed to some of the extra stuff we do around here. Dan's rants, my personal insights, all of my notes, our pre-look at some of the draft picks come the off season, as well as these streams that we're going to do watching other games that we're not going to put out in public because of the copyright issues. We got our hand slapped pretty good last time when I put that on the screen. And, we're going to avoid that in the future. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now. Thank you, John. Sean, you think the NFL is horned out for Buffalo? Seems like they moved that game pretty damn fast. Honestly, I don't think it's a personal thing about Buffalo. I think that they're concerned after everything else, the officiating crap that's gone on this year and just a lower end product than they're trying to make. Putting that game on, possibly having injuries, having honestly a broadcast that might not have been able to be seen through with blizzard conditions. I think they wanted to make sure that their television product was the best. I don't think it was specifically for Buffalo. And I think it was probably a good decision. Ozzy, I think part red, the red zone issues were the frozen end zone. They seem terrified to run routes or throw into it. I won't say terrified, but yeah, you didn't see a lot of those quick breaking things. I would have liked to seen a few more of those slow overs at the back end line, like she has run a bit this season. But that takes timing and takes avoiding the pass rush. And I think what I was very happy about is that they were working to get the ball out quickly. And they were trying. If he had to hold it and he had a good pocket, which he did a lot, okay. But that wasn't like a 7-step drop by design to let him sit back there for 5.5 seconds to try to deliver the ball. So I do feel like, yeah, it was probably a little bit of the footing. Felt like the field had better footing than the end zone did. So I think that's probably just the adjustment they made. Gary, thank you for being one of our mods. We appreciate you, buddy. How do you feel the Chiefs will do against the Texans? I feel like CJ Stroud's going to get some of his, but I don't think it's going to be earth-shattering because I'm sorry, Nico Collins doesn't scare me against Jerry Sneed and Trent McDuffie or even Jalen Watson. He doesn't have the speed to run away from any of those guys. Cooks is Cooks, you know. Tank, I think, is going to still be out. I don't recall him being able to return, so I ain't too worried. I think it's more about the offense building on this. And yes, they had to settle for a lot of field goals in this ballgame, but they put together scoring drives on the majority of their drives, and that's what matters in the end. Take the conditions out, and I think you're in better shape. I love a home game at Arrowhead, so I'm here for it. Thanks, Gary. Hey, Mark. I was wondering if they can give Snead an extension before hitting free agency. No, that time has passed. He will hit the market no matter what at this point. They can pre-negotiate, and if he likes it, okay, he can just sign it. He doesn't have to go to any other team and even discuss. But the deadline has come and gone to do something about that and form an extension. So he will hit that marker, but he may just turn around and sign right back. You never know. You make the deal that he wants, then you're there. Oregon, should they just have Gabbert throw deep balls and make McColl track them down in practice? Never seen a guy quit on routes every time. I don't know what it is. And I don't buy the BS that, I couldn't find it in the lights. Arrowhead's lights are in the same spot that they were for every year that he played here. It ain't nothing new. So I feel like that's an excuse. And I do think that, yeah, just get used to doing it. Do your damn job. Now, that said, he's not that great at tracking the ball over his head. He never was. He is better if you hit him on the run in that 8 to 18-yard range and let him run. Do that. Stop asking him to do all this over-the-top stuff and track the ball because he can't do it. Set your players up for success by asking them to do things that they're good at. That's what I say. Really like them using crossers for big chunks of yardage yesterday. Hope AR keeps that in the playbook. He definitely has it in the playbook. The question is going to be who's running it. And I do think it works very well for Rasheed. I think you could see it out of McColl as well. Excuse me, guys. I've been doing a lot of shouting this weekend and starting to catch up with me. I really like DeMarcus Robinson when he was with the Chiefs. Do you think that they regret letting him go? I don't. He made a couple of nice plays every now and then. He made a lot of boneheaded mistakes as well. I don't think that they miss him, and I don't think that they regret anything. I don't see he and MVS as a whole lot different. Different styles, but same results. Let's see. I was surprised FAU wasn't active. Are you concerned about his development so far? Yes, I am. And I think being inactive is a danger sign there. Now, that said, we knew he was not a polished product when he was selected. We told you guys that on draft night. At the place that they were picking and the edges and the tackles that were available, as well as the wide receivers, you can make an argument, but he was probably still the best selection. I had him as I think I had him 48th, definitely in the round 2, but in the top half of it. So it wasn't that much of a reach. But since then, it's about how you grow. And I think if Tom was willing to work with him, much like he was willing to work with George, I think it's paid off for George. George's progression has been great, and I think FAU has a chance to catch up. I'll never use the B word. A lot of people will, but I think he's just had a rough first season, and I think he can round into shape. Arg, hope you're doing well. Ryan be like, it's too cold to go to the game, but it was still fun anyway. I'm glad you had a good time. And no, I would not have volunteered to fly in and go to that game. Got to tell you, I'm all for the cold, but enough is enough. Shout out to Pennell for shoring up the run D. Hope that continues. I agree. It's nice to be able to have somebody that can come in like that and really give you that lift when you need it. I appreciate it. Kev, I appreciate you too. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Did McDaniel lose faith in Tua mid-game? I don't know if it was Tua or the wind, to be frank. I think Tua lost faith in Tua. I felt like his confidence took a dive in the second half, early in mid-third maybe. And I think that affected a lot of things that he did after that. It was probably my guess based on the win and some of the problems that he was having. When you can't get the ball to Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill is laying flat on the ground because Legarius pummeled him, yeah, it'd make me a little bit nervous too if I was the quarterback. So, hey, you never know. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you as always, buddy. See if I can get this next one up here. How about if a sign is the FEUs was inactive? Well, it ain't a good one, but I don't know the specifics, and I don't know if it was just something about the matchup. We'll see what happens next. If he's inactive again, you can start warming up the hey, we're in trouble bus and see what comes of it. Callie, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. At least you didn't go to that game, bud. What's your ceiling? What's our ceiling from your eye test? This is the tough part. If they just buckle down and do what they did, the defense can slow down the Ravens enough to win an AFC championship and go face the Niners for the title. I think that's in the cards. The question's going to be, how good is this defense and how good is the Niners defense? They're both very, very good. It's going to be a matchup base. I think it's within the realm of possibility of still winning this championship. I think it's 3 times as likely that they get to the AFC championship and win it. But I still think it's a chance to win this Super Bowl. That's where I see the ceiling. Still has work to do, but they're a slow developing child at this point. Again, thank you, John, for the gift memberships. Everyone, when you get notified, please thank John Collins. He's done a service for you and for us. And I appreciate all the help because, we just want to grow the area. We enjoy doing this and we enjoy having you guys. We're going to wrap up here in a couple of seconds with a few more questions. As we get down to the bottom, then we can go enjoy this other ball game because I am interested to see what happens. Scott, how much Valium did Reed have to take to process letting Pacheco have 24 carries? He's done this before. I did it with Clyde's rookie year in Buffalo. When conditions required it. He has no problem when conditions require it. It's when it's like a nice day or a perfectly fine day and he just wants to throw. That's when he has the most trouble staying on the run. When it's inclement weather, Andy Reid is actually really good about buckling down and using the run game. I just hope that this carries over, that this game and the Bengals game in particular carry over and give him the satisfaction that he deserves and the understanding that he's got to continue this going forward. I think if he does that, we're all going to be very, very happy here the next month. Mark, have you heard anything about when Cook might be coming back? I have not. It's been radio silence on Cook for any of my sources or anybody I know that has sources in the building. That tells me it's pretty highly unlikely. Can't rule it out, but I have heard zero talk about it happening before the Super Bowl. So I don't know, man. I'd love to see it. Even though MVS caught one pass, Pat has finally moved on from throwing him, even when he's open. Stone hands. James, I hope that you're right. When you get so many chances and you let people down over and over and over, you should get to the end of your rope. And I hope that that's where Patrick's reached with him. Every now and then, let him do something. Give him a shout if you're comfortable. If you need something, pressure situations, I'm not there for it. I think that's where I draw the line. And I think that's where he does as well. Scott, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. Do you think the Texans can upset the Ravens for a possible home AFC championship game? I think either the Buffalo Bills or the Houston Texans can do that. Now, I think there's a scenario where each of them could play Buffalo, right? I could be wrong with that. But I do think that there's possibility there for either. Honestly, it's an open field. I don't feel like Baltimore's been tested as much as certain matchups will do. So I am certainly capable of prognosticating somebody could beat them that isn't the Chiefs. Karen, thank you very much. Welcome to the memberships. When you guys do join the memberships, especially if you upgrade to rookie or whatever, you want to go get in the Discord. That's one of the big perks here of the rookie level and above. All the extra content, my game notes, Dan's notes, the draft stuff. It starts with the Discord. And so you can go to Rogue Nation right now. You can find it on Discord, and you can have a look in the lobby. When you connect your YouTube member to your Discord membership, it all unlocks and you have access to the full thing. And there's a ton of folks in there, a ton of names that you know, covering a lot of different topics. So please go in there, check it out. A lot of our main users have made a home of it and given it their twist. FLDB, Stevie, Gooch is in there sometimes. You can find Dan and I. We try to check in. There's a lot good in there. Check it out and let me know what you think, Karen. Tua Noodle Arm is over. I like the way you put that, Justin. And I like Tua. But there's been too much hype about what he is and what he isn't. Joey, think the Chiefs need to trade up for offensive tackle? I think I want them to. I don't know if they need to. They may feel that there's an athletic tackle project that can be gotten at 32 or in the second round that maybe they don't want to spend that on. Maybe they do want to go wide receiver in the first. Okay. It's just that the proven quantities are way up there, and it's going to cost a ton. That's the problem. I'm not willing to give up multiple number twos for a tackle in this class. Olafshan was probably going to be a top 7 pick. Joe Alt's not going to be far behind him. Now, Joe Alt's a good tackle. Obviously, he has the connection to Kansas City, but I don't think he has an elite pass protector as the Chiefs need. So I wouldn't go up and trade up for him that much, especially if you have to give up 2 number ones plus something else. I just ain't doing it. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see as we break down if Joe and Ola really separate themselves as much as I think that they're going to. I am not a giant Latham fan. I think he's a right only, and I don't think he can help the Chiefs. Even if you put him in right and you move Taylor to left, I don't know that I would trade up to go get him. That's kind of how I come out with it. Yeah. Sorry, Joe. Cole, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. Great content. Is Rice the future at wide receiver 1? He is for now. I believe he will be next season unless they choose what might be the more likely is to trade up for a wide receiver. And I think there are a couple that they might be interested in. I don't know if you guys are going to be. Malik Neighbors is going to be one of them. I squarely have Rome Odunze as the 1B. And I got to tell you, the more I watch, the more I think there are teams that might have him as 1. So I don't think he's within striking distance. But I do feel until they get a big name number 1, Rice will be the number 1 in this offense. And I think even then it could get to the point where you might have a speed-oriented guy and Rice that are 1A, 1B kind of thing. I would like to see Xavier Worthy in this offense myself, and I think you can get him at 31, 32, whatever it is. Appreciate you, Cole. And you, John, another gifted membership. Appreciate you very much. And folks, say hi, thanks, and hi to John for another free membership. One of you is going to inherit here right now. And CD, I will back you up here. The other guy that's going to be available, I think, in the 30s, where the Chiefs are going to pick, is Jalen Polk. I think he is an Andy guy in the realm of Jeremy Maclin. He's not as wiry as Tyreek. He's not as explosive as Tyreek, but he does a little bit of everything. He is excellent. And I like Polk in this offense. It's a little bit redundant, a little bit Rice 2.0, but he's got more wheels. So I'm okay with that. Dan and I will probably go back and forth on that because I do believe he's not as big on Polk as I am. So I think he would take, my guess is he would take Troy Franklin over Polk. But hey, that's all right. That's why we have this channel, is to disagree. So with that said, I am going to call it a night. Let you guys get to the ball game. I'm going to do so as well. Going to go record Locked On Chiefs. So you can find that here coming up later. And I appreciate you guys being here and joining me again for another live stream in a row. We're going to have the Q&A live tomorrow night at 7 Central like we always do. And then we'll go over to the members part and we'll do our thing about the live ball game for the Buffalo Bills. Have a great evening. Enjoy this one. Have a great Monday. I'll be working as well. So take care, and I'll talk to you tomorrow night.